There comes a moment in every person's life when they pause, even for a brief second, and wonder why certain fears cling to them with a strange and invisible insistence, as though shadows have followed them from room to room without ever giving their names. In this moment of quiet uncertainty, a realization begins to emerge. The words we speak are not simply sounds that vanish into the air, but currents of energy that shape our experiences, thoughts, and emotional states in ways far deeper than we imagine. Throughout history, mystics, sages, and spiritual teachers have whispered that language is a form of creation, a tool of manifestation, and sometimes, even unknowingly, a doorway to dark forces that thrive on fear, doubt, and emotional chaos. As we journey through the unseen layers of life, we begin to understand how specific phrases, often spoken casually or in frustration, can act like keys that unlock a silent realm where negative energies await an invitation. These words do not possess power on their own. Rather, they awaken the vibration within us that resonates with fear or despair, forming an invisible link between our inner world and the darker frequencies that drift around us. Many people fail to notice how effortlessly they summon these energies through statements of hopelessness, anger, or self-condemnation, not realizing that every repeated phrase becomes a command their subconscious mind obeys with absolute loyalty. When someone says, "I can't do this," "I'm cursed," "nothing ever works for me," or "I'm doomed," they unknowingly plant seeds of limitation, attracting the very experiences they fear the most. And the universe, in its enigmatic neutrality, mirrors back the energy we release, shaping events, encounters, and moods accordingly. In this unfolding narrative, we explore how words have been used as tools of transformation as well as traps of emotional imprisonment, and how countless individuals have suffered under the weight of language that carried vibrations they never recognized. You may recall a moment when someone's harsh words pierced you so deeply that you felt a shift inside, a sudden heaviness, a subtle trembling, or an emotional cloud that lingered long after the conversation ended. That sensation was not imagination. It was energy responding to energy. And just as another person's words can wound or weaken you, your own words can expose you to forces that thrive on your emotional cracks, amplifying fear until it becomes a storm you no longer know how to calm. But the deeper truth is this: if dark energies can be invited through careless language, then protection, empowerment, and inner strength can also be summoned through intentional and conscious speech. The moment you begin to observe the words you use, truly observe them with awareness, you step out of the shadows and reclaim authority over your spiritual space. You begin to see how every phrase has a frequency, how every thought has a pulse, and how every expression shapes the unseen atmosphere around you. This video serves as your guide through the labyrinth of hidden verbal triggers, shedding light on how certain words may weaken your resistance, while others reinforce your spiritual boundaries. As you listen to this message, allow your mind to open, not with fear, but with curiosity. For the moment you understand the subtle power of spoken language, you break free from the invisible chains that once controlled you. You begin to realize that protection is not something you search for outside yourself. It begins with the awareness, discipline, and intention you cultivate within. And when you learn to speak from a place of strength rather than weakness, clarity rather than confusion, and truth rather than fear, you transform your inner environment into a fortress that no dark force can enter uninvited. In this journey, you will discover that the most powerful shield you possess is the voice that rises from within you. Your words, your declarations, and your unwavering ability to command the energy that surrounds your life. As we move deeper into this unseen realm where words shape reality in ways most people never pause to consider, a fascinating truth begins to rise like mist from the quiet corners of the mind. Every emotion you experience, every outcome you encounter, and every challenge you struggle with is profoundly influenced by the vibrations carried within your own speech. Most individuals wander through life unaware of the powerful spiritual laws operating beneath the surface of ordinary conversations, believing that fear, conflict, and misfortune appear without warning or pattern. But the moment you begin to observe how you speak about yourself, your circumstances, and your future, a striking pattern reveals itself. one that shows how you have been unknowingly sculpting the very experiences that weigh on your heart. It is not that dark energies hover over your life waiting for permission to enter. It is that negative speech lowers your spiritual defenses, weakening your emotional field, and allowing these unseen forces to settle quietly into moments of vulnerability. Consider how a simple statement like, "I'm tired of everything," or "I feel cursed," can shift the energy of an entire day, pulling your emotions downward until what was once manageable becomes overwhelming. These statements do more than express frustration. They reinforce your attachment to fear-based energy. And in that weakened state, negative forces, whether internal or external, find an open path to influence your thoughts and magnify your distress. This cycle often repeats itself without people realizing that the key to breaking it lies not in fighting the darkness, but in changing the language that feeds it. Throughout history, ancient scripts, spiritual traditions, and mystical teachings have all emphasized the same foundational truth. The power of the spoken word is sacred, and anything sacred can either protect or destroy depending on how it is used. Many cultures believe that words could heal illness, summon courage, attract abundance, or cast shadows over a person's destiny. In the modern world, people tend to view these ideas symbolically, yet the emotional and psychological effects of negative self-talk prove that words still carry an almost magical potency. When you repeatedly speak about your life as though you are powerless, unlucky, or burdened beyond measure, you create a self-fulfilling prophecy. Even science acknowledges the power of repetition on the subconscious mind, but spiritual wisdom expands this understanding even further. Your words are vibrations, and vibrations resonate with corresponding energies in the world around you. The more you speak fear, the more you attract fear. The more you speak defeat, the more you experience defeat. This is not superstition. It is the energetic law woven into the very fabric of existence, whether you are aware of it or not. Yet within this seemingly dark revelation lies a profound source of hope, because if negative words invite negative energy, then positive, empowered, and intentional speech can summon strength, clarity, and divine protection. When you say, "I am safe," "I am guided," "I am strong," or "I choose peace," you shift the vibration of your entire being. You align yourself with higher energies that support your growth, uplift your emotions, and fortify your spiritual boundaries. This transformation does not require rituals, fear, or complexity. It simply requires awareness. Awareness of how you speak. Awareness of how your words make you feel. Awareness of how your inner dialogue shapes the atmosphere of your life long before any physical event unfolds. In this narrative, imagine yourself standing at the center of your own energetic field, a field influenced by every thought and every phrase you speak. When you say something harmful about yourself, it is as though you dim the light around you, making it easier for shadows to approach. But when you speak with intention, you brighten that light, expanding it outward until it becomes a shield that nothing dark can penetrate. This is the essence of spiritual self-protection, not through fear or resistance, but through the deliberate and conscious choice to speak in ways that elevate your vibration and reinforce your inner stability. Many people underestimate the quiet power of disciplined speech, believing that protection must come from external sources, sacred objects, or special rituals. But the truth is far simpler and far more empowering. The greatest protective force is the energy you create through the language you choose every single day. As you listen to this message, let your awareness sharpen. Begin to recognize the phrases that drain your power and replace them with words that restore your strength. Observe how quickly your energy shifts when you decide to speak from a place of clarity rather than confusion, courage rather than fear. In doing so, you begin to reclaim authority over the unseen forces that once affected you without your permission. And slowly, you realize that you were never helpless. You simply needed to learn the language of your own spiritual protection. As we arrive at the final part of this unfolding journey, a powerful realization begins to shine through the fog that once clouded your understanding. You are not merely a passive observer in your life, nor are you a helpless receiver of energies that drift toward you without cause. You are, and have always been, a creator, shaping the unseen landscape around you through the words you choose, the emotions you nourish, and the thoughts you allow to take root in the sanctuary of your mind. This realization is not meant to burden you with blame, but to awaken within you an undeniable truth. Your power has never been lost, only forgotten. And now, as you stand in the presence of this knowledge, you can finally reclaim your authority over the energies that surround your life. The whisper of your voice can either open doors to darkness or summon the forces of light that protect, guide, and strengthen you from within. This is not a metaphor. It is the living law that governs the spiritual architecture of every soul who walks this earth. Picture yourself standing in a vast, silent space, where every word you speak becomes a ripple in the invisible air, creating waves that extend far beyond your physical form. When you say something filled with fear, the ripple carries that vibration outward, attracting similar frequencies like an echo returning to its source. But when your words are rooted in courage, faith, and conscious intention, the ripple transforms into a radiant pulse that pushes back the shadows, illuminating pathways you never noticed before. This is why the way you speak is far more than communication. It is energetic construction. You are constantly building or dismantling the foundation of your own spiritual environment, often without realizing the power resting in the simplicity of your speech. Every phrase is a spell of sorts, shaping the reality you walk into. And now that you understand this, the question shifts from what harms me to what can I become when I speak with awareness? In this final reflection, you are invited to step into the role of your own guardian, not through fear-driven caution, but through mindful sovereignty. Begin to observe the internal narratives that once flowed freely and unconsciously through your thoughts. Notice how certain phrases tighten your chest, lower your energy, or awaken a sense of heaviness within you. These are signs, signals from your intuition, that the words you are using do not align with your true power. They serve as reminders that your internal language must be tended to with the same care you would give to a fragile seed meant to grow into something extraordinary. When you shift your speech, even slightly, you alter the entire pattern of your emotional world. When you change the way you describe your life, your challenges, and your identity, you redirect the flow of energy that moves through you. And in that redirection, you find yourself protected, not by force, but by clarity. Understand that protection is not the absence of darkness. It is the presence of awareness. The darkness has always existed, but it has never been something to fear. It is simply a space where light has not yet been intentionally directed. When you use conscious, empowered words, you become the source of that light. You illuminate the corners of your mind where fear once hid. You brighten the emotional pathways where anxiety once traveled freely. You shine through the memories that once weakened your spirit. And as you do, negative energies lose their access to the vulnerable spaces they once entered. They cannot penetrate a mind that speaks with purpose. They cannot cling to a heart that affirms its own strength. They cannot dwell in a soul that has awakened to its own vibrational authority. Throughout this journey, you have uncovered the hidden mechanics of how words operate in both the spiritual and emotional realms. You have learned how negative speech weakens your defenses and how empowered speech fortifies them. But now, you step into the most crucial understanding of all. You are capable of transforming your life by transforming your language. Every time you choose a statement of hope over despair, you shift your energy. Every time you speak strength instead of fear, you align yourself with higher forces that guide and protect you. Every time you affirm your worth, you build a fortress around your heart that no shadow can cross. This is your true power, the power to command your reality through the vibration of your words. And as you walk forward from this moment, carry with you the unshakable certainty that your voice is not small, your words are not weak, and your presence is not vulnerable. You are a being of energy, intention, and divine authority. The words you speak shape the world you live in. And from this day forward, may you speak in a way that elevates your path, protects your spirit, and illuminates every step with the strength that has always belonged to you.